Pastor, we so very much appreciate your leadership, all you do for the church, all your sacrifices, and just your desire to outreach the community around us.
Also, your humble spirit and serving heart.
Hi, Pastor. I just want to take a moment to tell you how much we appreciate you and everything you do here at North Life. Just in the few years that we've been here, it's been quite an exciting journey, and it's just been such a blessing and privilege with the opportunity that we've had to serve here. We just thank you for that. We love you, and keep it up.
And we want to thank you to Heidi for all of your support and encouragement over the last few years, and just always being there and a good role model for us women to follow.
Pastor Snowd, I just wanted to take this moment, this opportunity to communicate my thankfulness to you and this church for being here. When my family needed a new body to join, to be a part of, I'm so thankful that you and this church were here for us. So thank you and thank the Lord.
I don't know about everybody else, but I find your jokes to be hilarious. You've been a great encouragement to me, and I just want to let you know that.
Thank you, Pastor and Miss Heidi, for all you do for our church.
Thank you, Pastor and Heidi, for all that you do for our church. Thank you for obeying God's call to start North Life Baptist. The church has been a tremendous blessing to our family.
I can't believe the church is 10 years old.
Just like me.
Thank
you.
When I think of Pastor and Heidi over the years, I just think of their hospitality towards anyone and everyone and how genuine they are.
Yeah, I remember the first time that we got to come over to their house. I think we picked up some Koshi House pizza and took it over there and just had a good time of fellowship, and it's probably the last time I had that kind of pizza, but yeah, it was just a good time. But I remember being there at that house, and then I think there was another house, and was there a third house, and a fourth house too, I think, and if I'm counting right, I think we had the same number of church buildings too. So we moved quite a little bit, quite a bit. But I guess the only thing that I can think of that moved more was maybe my church office. But no, it's been a joy to serve with you, Pastor, and to be a help to you. And it's just been a blessing for our family to be a part of North Life Baptist Church.
Pastor, I'd just like to say it's been a real blessing, especially this time learning about prayer. We thank you so much, and we continue to pray for you and your family and for our church. Thank you.
Well, the pastor said, he posted something on Facebook. He didn't say it, I just saw it. It said, "Preacher, show them authentic, anticipatory faith today." And I just noticed that every time we're in worship or something, I see the pastor, he's getting into it, And so you can tell he's really leading by example, and he really feels that, and he wants that for our church too.
Hey, Pastor, we just want to take a moment and thank you for all that you've done for the church. I want to thank you for your inspiration and your spiritual direction you've given to us, and just your leadership and your sacrifice.
And Heidi, we want to thank you for leading all the ladies in such a loving relationship, and we thank you all so much for growing us in our relationship with the Lord and with each other. We love you all.
Well, Pastor, we'd just like to say thank you for all your years of service here in the church, and you've been such a blessing. We just pray that you just be in the Spirit. And just say thank you, and we love you.
Pastor, I just want to thank you for your service, and you and Heidi are just a blessing to Tom and I and my family, and we love you, and we want you to continue to stay in the Spirit.
I'm so thankful that you're a pastor, and the time and energy and prayer and thought that goes into every one of your sermons. They are full of truth and wisdom, and I'm just so thankful for you and your family. And Heidi, I love you so much, and I'm so thankful for you. And what strikes me about you the most is even though you may be in the midst of grief or your own struggles, you're still ministering to other people and loving on them, and we're just so thankful for you guys.
Yeah, just thank you for both your ministry, just the way you have devoted your life to it and the sacrifice you've given for it, and we know you've done it for the ministry, for the Lord, and that just makes it that much more joyful. And we're just appreciative of the friends you've been, and we're just we love you guys. We're just thankful for you.
Love you.
Pastor Snode, for accepting Curtis and I with open arms of love into your church this last year.
Hi, Pastor. I just want to thank you so much for your wonderful preaching, the study you put into each sermon, and the teaching that you give us every Sunday, Lord. It really blesses my heart. I want to thank you also for your sense of humor, even though you call it quirky. I think it's really good. And I want to thank you also for the fact that when you prepare your messages, they speak to someone in this sanctuary. And my granddaughter came to visit, and she was touched. She felt like your sermon was exactly aimed at her. And she was so encouraged that she's going to come stay with me for a couple months to sit under your preaching while she figures out what she's going to do next with her mission. And then I want to also thank you and Heidi, especially for your support and visits, cards, and love that you showed me during Niall's illness and passing. So thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you, Pastor Snode, for your wonderful example with your preaching. I love it all the time. And thank you so much for the wonderful brothers and sisters who treat me as though they've known me all my life. Thank you so much.
So I really appreciate Pastor's sense of humor, and he's always making fun of himself in a self-deprecatory type of way, and I actually find that very funny. So I appreciate that, and how he's always directing his comments toward us, also applying to himself. I think that's a very endearing quality.
Pastor, for answering God's call to start this church years ago. Even though we've only been there a couple years, it's been such a huge blessing for our family, and we love you guys.
So besides his Mario Kart style driving skills that he displayed in Mexico, and his consistent use of dad jokes in the sermon, I guess the next thing I appreciate most about Pastor is his persistence, perseverance. You know, I'm sure there have been a lot of times in these past 10 years that he's considered whether this was a good idea or not. You know, it was really like starting a business, and he had to, right from the start, deal with the public and all the challenges that brings. I think he uses a good analogy. I've heard him say before that you know, starting a church is like building an airplane while you're flying, and that's probably a pretty good analogy. So I guess I'm just appreciative of and impressed with his ability to stick with it through a lot of hard times, I'm sure, and I appreciate Heidi, I'm sure, a lot of the time helping him through some of those challenges and low times where maybe they have considered whether or not this was a good idea to start or to continue with. So thank you to both of you, and we appreciate you and we love you.
Pastor, thank you for encouraging our church to be worshipers of the Lord in song. I appreciate your strong and enthusiastic voice singing behind me every Sunday. Thank you.
Pastor, your love for the Lord is very evident throughout our church.
We so appreciate your faithfulness and diligence in preaching through the scriptures, often verse by verse, and not skipping over the hard texts, but working through them.
And we just thank you so much for your encouragement that you have brought to our family as well.